You are now listening to Mike's Opinion, Logic Unlimited.
That's right, you are now listening to the Mike's Opinion Podcast. Thank you so much for listening and watching on YouTube. I appreciate you so much. I hope you're doing all right. How you doing? You doing all right? I hope you're doing good. I hope you're doing great. I hope you're doing fantastic out there. That's how I hope you're doing. You know I always want to know. Hit me up, Mike'sOpinionShow@gmail.com or anywhere on the socials. Let me know how you doing. Chime in. Say, yo, Mike. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. You are now tuned in to the world famous update episode. I do one every month, touch on topics. Got a new segment coming up called Hot Mess. It's the Hot Mess segment. You check for that. It's coming up soon, right in this episode right here. So, we got a lot going on. A lot going on. And, you know, I'm a real dude. I'm a real man. And I don't want to start off this episode with sadness and sorrow, but I don't ignore what's going on. Okay? And the fact of the matter is, it's a lot of tragedy on Earth. Has been since the beginning. It is part of living here on Earth. Nevertheless, when these things happen, we cannot get desensitized to them. We can accept that it is part of our reality. However, we have to acknowledge it and we have to feel all the feels, when it happens. And yet, another senseless mass shooting in Kentucky a couple days ago on Monday. And I just want to take a moment to acknowledge this, acknowledge the people who perished, who were murdered, and give them their moment of silence. But first, in case you don't know, Monday in Louisville, Kentucky, at the Old National Bank on Main Street, of all places, a 25-year-old bank employee, seemingly during a 8:30 a.m. regular staff meeting, opened fire with an AR-15. One officer was a rookie, been on the job 2 weeks, shot in the head, had brain surgery. 8 others were hospitalized. And as of today, 5 of the victims died. Those 5 victims that died were Juliana Farmer, 45 years old. She was a commercial banking agent. Tommy Elliott, 63 years old, senior vice president at the bank. Jim Tutt, 64, a market exec. Josh Barrick, 40 years old, senior VP. And Deanna Eckert, 57. And I'd like to just take a moment of silence for those people who lost their lives. Yeah. That's important to me. You know, my podcast was created and is designed to spread love and positivity and substance. I don't do fluff and stuff like that. You're going to see some stuff, some fluff come to my YouTube channel because I like cat videos. I like funny videos. I like to make people laugh. I like to bring joy into this world. But at the same time, I'd like to address serious issues as well, such as gun violence. So, you know, getting guns off the street, like guns, like, you know, I mean, what's wrong with human beings? What's wrong with human beings? Michael Jackson, may he rest in peace, said, "I'm starting with the man in the mirror. Why can't all of us reflect in the mirror and decide to be peaceful towards each other, regardless of anything, Race, religion, sexual preference, job, class, neighborhood, color of skin. Why can't we all just be human beings and love one another? I don't know. I don't know. I wish I knew. I do. But we are going to move forward as we all must. Right? And I just want to tell you, we're going to switch gears to something a little more pleasant. He said, yo, Mike, we need this pleasantness. Yes, we do. And the first thing I'm going to tell you is Halle Berry was naked. I need to add a sound effect. Ta-da! Like, yo, Halle Berry was naked. Halle Berry is in her 50s, mid 50s, early late 50s. Like somebody else. They ain't saying no names. Looking good. Looking spectacular. Ugh. So, that's out there if you want to go search for that. You just type Halle Berry naked and you're going to see it. I saw it. I also saw the movie Swordfish, where she let the boobies out. You know, Halle's Halle. Love you, Halle. If you see this, you know, your man and I kind of, resemble each other. He got more money, probably better health care. So, his skin is a little more gleamy than mine. But in case it don't work out, yes, I'm married, but listen to We Just Had Sex episode, you understand. I can get a pass for some Halle. So if you find yourself in the Dallas area, I'm from New York, but I'm in the Dallas area, hit me up. Show you around. Take you out, spend a little time. Maybe kiss you on the neck a little bit. Anyway, I'm tripping. Hilary Swank had twins, a boy and a girl. Congratulations to 48-year-old Hilary Swank, just starting motherhood. And I'm my second wife. I got a young son. So I get it. And I don't know if some people think that when they're 20, you're going to be 68. Keep in shape. That's all I'm going to say. Because my young son is going to be much larger than me if he keeps growing the way he is. And right now, he be throwing his weight around. I'm like, yo. But they keep you young. Bless the kids. They are a blessing. No matter how much, sometimes it is a challenge being a parent, they are a blessing. So congratulations to Hilary Swank. I don't know if any of you care. Certainly many of you do. But I'm going to mention this in this update, and I'm running through this quick because I've been drinking vodka, and it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. And no, actually it's 4 o'clock in the morning, and I've been busy and I've been doing stuff, and I'm not trying to rush this episode, but I also need to get up very early. I probably shouldn't go to sleep, but I think I'm gonna give me a couple hours to shut up. But, there's a new Star Wars movies coming out. Didn't know that? You heard it here first on the Mike's Opinion podcast, but maybe you didn't. Maybe you already knew. But yes, Star Wars is coming out with new movies. In the theaters, movies. Like, they're not just going to do it on streaming. And while I'm on that, are the movies dead? I saw an interview with a guy after one of these shootings, because there was another one, I want to say in Kentucky, the same day at a college. And, you know how the news interviews people, and the guy said, we're not safe nowhere no more. And the fact of the matter is we never was. Now, I don't know if it's more shootings, more violence, or it's just that the news travels faster now. It's instantaneous. Either while something is happening during the incident, the news breaks, or very shortly after the news breaks. So, I know historically there's been many wars and drama and violence with human beings, but it seems, even if it's just because we get the news faster, it seems that there's more. So it don't matter if you're in a church, a big box store, at the mall, at work, in a movie theater, that we have to be with that head on a swivel, on alert, and we gotta be packing, right? I mean, I know I don't like American Express, and I ain't saying names because I'm not sponsored, but I don't leave home without it. That's their slogan, right? And neither is my wife. And we are prepared. And we ain't hesitating, if need be, to defend our lives and our safety. And I understand everybody else's desire to do that, but how you feel when you out? You know? Car backfires. Are you reaching for your thing? You know, are you suffering anxiety? Are you paranoid? Are you looking at everybody like, is he the shooter? Is she the shooter? Is he the shooter? Don't. Live your life. Be prepared, but live your life. Because if we don't, if we get shook, if we become paranoid, anxiety-filled people, inevitably scared of death is what it is, or severe injury, then they win if we live like that. Y'all know I digress, but it's all connected. So live your life in peace and in harmony. And if evil raises its head, put it to bed quickly and expeditiously and efficiently. Don't run from it, run to it and take care of that. Another one bites the dust. Maybe if we all did that, we can rid this world of these evil people. And some people say they're mentally ill. Okay. If you know somebody that's demonstrating mental illness, first of all, show compassion and empathy, but get them help. Whether voluntarily or involuntarily. If you think you know the next shooter, the next mass shooter, do that. Help us all. Sadly, some of these violent people, whether they suffer from mental illness or are just pure evil, are world leaders. I'm going to leave it right there. The next story, and I'm breezing through these stories real quick. Like I said, I need to shorten up this episode. Clarence Thomas. Black man. Is he? Supreme Court Justice. Maybe not too much longer. I doubt that we can dethrone him. And I say we being, Ocasio-Cortez, with her fine self. But she says she's going to start impeachment on Clarence Thomas. And I say good luck. If you don't know, Clarence Thomas, Supreme Court judge, was hanging out with a gentleman by the name of Harlan Crow, who happens to be right here in the Dallas area. Major Republican donor. And according to the report, Thomas has enjoyed, Clarence Thomas, Supreme Court Justice, received the following from this Republican mega donor. And before I tell you what he received, let's not forget his wife, I believe her name is Jenny, was rocking with the insurrection and the Trump and the whole, he won and all of that. Staunch, hardcore Republicans are Jenny and Clarence Thomas. What we know, Clarence Thomas enjoyed a number of benefits over the past 20 odd years of relationships with Harlan Crow, including cruises on Crow's 160-foot yacht, stays at Crow's properties in the Adirondacks, the East Texas, and use of Crow's private jet. Let's just hold up. a person who's extremely wealthy, who owns yachts, private jets, who's given major money to one of the major political parties, is whining, dining, jet-setting, kicking it with, gifting vacations to a Supreme Court justice. Look, I'm not naive. I know how it gets down. Big money in the politician's pocket, stuff in them pockets so they could get what they want. It's worked like that forever. Okay? People in these circles keep their circle closed, tight, and small. Or in some of these networks, they're very large. But you know, Clarence, hell, I need a jet this weekend. No problem. I need this law passed if it comes to your desk. No problem. So, the commoners of us, the regular folk, the everyday people, the only way we stand a chance is demonstrated by the example in Tennessee with the two young lawmakers. Check out the segment Hot Mess and you will see what I'm talking about. As a matter of fact, before I move on, I'm going to go ahead and introduce this next segment. It's called The Hot Mess. Brand new segment. I'm going to add it to at least every update episode, maybe more episodes. But I present to you The Hot Mess.
It's the
Hot Mess. It's a hot mess. That's right. It's a hot mess right here on the Mike's Opinion Podcast, where if it's crazy, if it's bananas, if it shouldn't have happened, if it wouldn't have happened, you know we're going to talk about it right here in the brand new segment, The Hot Mess. It's a hot mess. That's right. It sure was a hot mess. This episode's hot mess segment is brought to you by nobody. You know why? Because there ain't no sponsors yet. Help a brother out. Support the show, please. It'd be greatly appreciated. It's a hot mess in Tennessee. It's a hot mess. Did you hear? Have you heard? Did you hear the news? Tennessee, they tripping in Nashville. Tripping. It's a hot mess. There's no other description for it. So if you don't know, like Friday, I think it was Thursday, last Friday, they expelled two young black lawmakers. Two young brothers expelled. Hadn't happened since like the Civil War era. As of Monday, one of them was reinstated already. Didn't miss a session. The other one's probably going to be reinstated. It's a hot mess. It's a hot mess. Why, you ask? If you don't know, you about to know. So, 3 of the state legislators in Tennessee, 2 young black men, 1 white woman. Just let me get the particulars correct when I'm talking about this. Okay, so there are 3 people involved, like I mentioned, right? And of course, it's a Republican-controlled legislature. So this is the breakdown. In case you want to know what happened, here are the particulars. Representative Justin Pearson and Justin Jones were expelled. 2 young black people. 2 young black men. Representative Gloria Johnson, a white woman, was not expelled. Now, she just missed the cut by 1 vote. But isn't it ironic? Don't you think? It's like, so the reason why they were chosen for the hot mess, because it's a hot mess. Young brothers got expelled. The people did a crazy uprising. Monday, boom. 3 days later, one of them's back. Another one's about to be back. And all they were doing were protesting for stricter gun laws, which I don't know about you. I'm a proud gun owner. Pop, pop, pop. Grew up around guns, growing up in Harlem and the Bronx in New York City. And I would gladly do away with all guns. And I mean all guns. The military, all of law enforcement. Like, let's just get rid of all guns. Period. So that we can live a better, safer life. Now, I know a lot of people are like, it's my constitutional right from my cold, dead hands. And look, like I said, I own guns. When the rest of y'all throw y'all's away, I throw mine away. And I know that, the Constitution, I'm not even going there today, but a lot of people are pro-Constitution, even though it was written by a bunch of slave owners. It's a hot mess in Tennessee, Memphis, Nashville, and the people stood up. Let's just be very clear about that. The people stood up and said, no, it's not happening. So the hot mess goes to the upper level state government of Tennessee. That's the hot mess. All right, so that was the hot mess. I hope you liked it. It was a little rough. Like I said, it's late. I was drinking vodka earlier, and yeah, so it's probably a little rough around the edges. Had to do some editing with that, but that ProPublica report on Clarence Thomas was something else. Do yourself a service and check it out. So moving on. When I do updates, I always like to include the serious stuff, but I always like to include things that, might inspire you. One of these things is a newly discovered Einstein shape. Have you heard about this? The Einstein shape. And you say, yo, Mike, what's the Einstein shape? Well, the Einstein shape is, think of your backsplash or your tile in your bathroom, stuff like that. Okay. The Einstein shape can do something no other tile can do. It's called the hat because it vaguely resembles a fedora. This elusive shape is an Einstein from not the Albert Einstein, but from the German Einstein, or one stone. That means it can completely cover a surface without ever creating a repeating pattern. And that's something that had never been achieved with a single tile. There's a whole story behind this. And I always like to say that I'm going to include the link in the show notes, and I always forget. I will try to remember because this is worth checking out. Now, when I looked at this hat, this Einstein tile, you never seen tiles, right? Like linoleum or floor tile, or like I said, tile in your bathroom. You zoom out, you can see the pattern repeats at some point. You can identify repeats in the pattern. You can't with this. And this has been a mathematical problem for decades. Another of life's mysteries falls to the wayside. We now have one shape, one tile that when you put them together, the pattern will never repeat itself. And I'm when I read this story, I was like, never? Like, if you laid out tiles around this whole earth, the pattern still's not going to repeat itself? I don't know. They say no. They say no. Whoever they is, them that know stuff. So, I thought that was an interesting, story, a bit, inspiring. Yeah, it's good stuff. So I have one more story that I want to share with you. So if you need some inspiration, here it is. And I'm going to tell you first, though, because the person in this last story is from the Philippines. I happen to be married to a beautiful woman who was my wife, who was half Filipino. Her mother's from the Philippines. And So I have a up close and personal window into the Philippines. You know, my stepmother and my mother-in-law rather, speaks, you know, Filipino language a lot. She makes Filipino dishes. I've tried mad Filipino foods and I like the majority of them. She's a great cook. So is my wife. But in the Philippines, there is a woman who is 106 years old. She recently graced the cover of Vogue magazine. Inspiration. Still doing her thing at 106 years old. That's what's up. That's living a good life. You see her picture. You ever seen somebody that just look happy, that looks content with life? Like that happens if you reach a certain age. Now, for us here in the Western world, you know, particularly America, we're inundated with horrible diet, lack of exercise, anxiety and partisan politics and division and anger and all these negativities. So our life expectancy is decades less than becoming a centurion, a person that lives longer than 100 years, because we don't eat right. We don't exercise. We don't take care of ourselves mentally, physically, spiritually, psychologically, in all of these ways. I could say a whole lot to that, but I'm just not, because I don't want to lose focus of Apu Wang Od is her name. Curiously, she's also known as Maria Ogege. I'll call her Apu. Or Apo. I hope I'm not messing up your name if you happen to hear this. But she is a tattoo artist and 106 years old, tatted from head to toe. And she does these type of tattoos. She's still tattooing. 106 years old. She resides in the mountain in a village of Buscalan, which is about 15 hours north of Manila. And she does these traditional Kalinga tattoos. And she just uses, like a stick and a thorn and some water and some charcoal. And that's all she uses. And she tap and tats you up. She said, and I'm paraphrasing here, that she has no intention on stopping as long as people keep coming, and she will stop once her vision gets blurry. And when I read, she said, this 106-year-old woman said, I'm going to stop working when my vision gets blurry. My vision blurry now. Huh? What? I always, like I said, I want to end on a good note. And your health, our health, is so important. Without it, what do you have? Not the best life, to put it mildly. And I try. But we are all addicted. We here in the United States in particular are addicted to a Western diet. It is filled with unhealthy food, processed foods, ultra processed foods, lots of meat, and God knows where that meat is coming from. These animals are in little cages. They can't move for their whole life. They're fed these chemicals so they can produce more or grow fat fast. I don't know how to urge you to be healthier. But what I can tell you is health being healthy leads to a much happier life. Tattoo artist Miss Ipo looks slim and like she's eating none but veggies. There is more and more proof that if you are a vegan, if you remove animal protein from your diet, you can literally cure your body. There are, many books out there about it. There's books on how to eat for your blood type. There's, books on how to, to be a vegan, how to remove, but we're addicted. We're inundated with ads. I don't know, there's an episode I have called Vegan versus Carnivore. You should check that out. It's worth listening. That's before I started doing video pods. It's only audio. But vegan, to remove our addictions to this food, because my wife and I were vegan for like 3 months after we watched this movie, this documentary about vegans. And when I tell you we were salivating at the screen, when those steakhouse commercials, cheeseburger commercials, zooming in, close up, HD, melty cheese, and the salt is bouncing off the fries in high definition. Look, it's an addiction. I would love to give it up, but I've been eating it for so long. When I give it up, I respond like an addict. My wife does, and everybody else does. If you've been eating this stuff your whole life, a juicy cheeseburger or a steak or some salty French fries, potato chips and cakes and cookies and all of these things, they're killing us. They're killing us. And we think we find joy and satisfaction in being gluttons, being full and stuffed. Shout out to Ipo Wangart doing her thing at 106 years old, living up in the mountains in the Philippines, and she's an inspiration to me. I hope she becomes one to you and inspires us to do better and to be better. Yes. As always, you always know, I want you to be okay. I hope you're okay, and I hope you are great. I hope you're doing good. If you're not, get help. Find a pathway to okay. We all face challenges, and we have to rise to those challenges. But know I'm here with you. I'm thinking about you, and I'm sending positive vibes your way. Okay? Send them back. Support the show. Send a few dollars too. Like, share, comment, follow, subscribe. Do all of that as well. It'd be greatly appreciated if you support the show. So, I hope you like the new segment, The Hot Mess. And I'll be back next week. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I'm Mike, and this is the Mike's Opinion Podcast.
Thank you so much for listening to Mike's Opinion. Logic Unleashed.